morning to all of you. Welcome to today's CPE meeting. We would like to thank all of you for sparing your soulful Saturday morning to be amidst us to attend today's CPE meeting on critical analysis and audit of risk management function. We have with us CA Vidyadharan Krishnaswamy sir to handle today's topic. May I request sir to come and occupy the dais, please. We will start today's proceedings with the invocation of ICAI motto song. Let us all rise for ICAI motto song as a mark of respect to our mother institute.
Yaesha sukteshu jagrati Yaesha sukteshu jagrati Kamam, 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 pursho, nirvimana, nirvimana, adeva shukram, brahma, adeva mritam uchate, asmin lokaha, shitaha, सर्वे तदुनात्यलिकश्चन नान्यमीकश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता
It's my privilege to introduce CA Vidyadharan sir. CA Vidyadharan is a fellow member of our institute and a qualified information system auditor. He has served in the following large industries for a total period of 12 years. The English Electric Company of India Limited, now known as Alstom Chennai, Madras Fertilizers Limited, Philips India Limited Mumbai, Al Futain Group Dubai. Thereafter, he is practicing as a chartered accountant in Chennai for the past 25 years. He is the managing partner of Messrs. Vidyadharan and Associates. He specializes in internal audit, risk-based audit, due diligence, tax audit, transfer pricing audit, limited review of listed companies, etc. He has travelled extensively to countries such as Singapore, Australia, Italy, Malaysia, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Sri Lanka on professional duty. He is a guest faculty with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Institute of Cost Accountants of India, Institute of Internal Auditors of India, Madras Management Association, University of Madras, C&AG Regional Training Institute, Society of Auditors, etc. He is the past president of Institute of Internal Auditors India and currently serving as an advisor of the Publication Committee of IAA India and the chairman of the Programs Committee of IAA Madras chapter. He has authored a book titled Fraud Prevention and Detection Through Internal Controls, which is published by IAA India in 2022. He contributes articles on RBIA, IS audit, operational audits, etc. to various professional journals. His articles on application control, a total approach to its audit, won the Best Paper Presenter Award from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He is a special invitee at the Board of Internal Audit of ICAI. With this brief, I have great pleasure in presenting before you CA Vidyadharan sir to handle today's session. Before I hand over the podium to Vidyadharan, may I now request Guru Prasad sir to come forward and present a memento and a shawl to sir as a token of our love and affection. You can remove your mask, sir.
Very good morning to everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here among you people to make a lecture presentation on audit of risk management function or department. First of all, I would like to know from the audience, how many of you are practicing chartered accountants doing internal audit, and how many of you are working in internal audit department of companies? Those who are working in internal audit department of various companies, please raise your hand. Only one. Others are all practicing CS. Good. See, risks are everywhere. All of you know. In every activity, every project, every task, there are various risks. Risks are dynamic and changing and all that. Even if you take a simple thing like crossing a road, there are risks. There can be accident, you must be careful about it. Or for that matter, you are sending your son or daughter to purchase medicine from a medical shop. Again, that person has to travel, cross the road, accident may happen, or risk of getting wrong medicine, or risk of getting medicine which is expired, and risk of not getting the correct change after making payment. So many things are there. So we will see during the course of our lecture what are the various types of risks, what kind of mitigation measures. For every risk, there are measures, mitigation of risk. Mitigation means risk reduction measures are there. So we will look into it in a detailed manner so that both of us are in the same wavelength, so that we can proceed to risk management process, risk assessment process. What are the various stages and phases and steps, and how do we go about auditing? All that we will see. In fact, management by risk is the new thing, in thing nowadays, current topic. There are different management styles. Management by objectives, management by exception, management by threat. So many types of management styles are there. And the last but not the least important is the risk management by risk. Considering the risk, you have to manage your affairs. That we will see in detail. Also, as auditors, as internal auditors, when I say auditor, I will mostly refer internal auditor because we are discussing about internal audit activity. Every internal auditor in every company in the month of February or March prepares a annual audit plan, so that from April to March they are going to do, these are the areas which have to be audited in the coming year, so that budget can be prepared for time allotment, time allocation, resource allocation, staff allocation, also travel budget. Everything has to be approved by the management. At that time, for a medium-sized company of 2000 crore turnover, there can be 60 to 70 audit areas to be audited in a particular year. But resources are limited. Resource constraints are there. You cannot audit all the 70 areas which are there. 70 areas may be, 70 cost centers may be there. There is a manufacturing plant, branch offices, regional marketing offices in various places, all put together. If you count, 70 to 80 cost centers may be there which have to be audited. But auditing all the cost centers, there are no resources. Material, money is not there. So how will you go about selecting out of the 70 or 80 you will be able to audit only 30 to 40. How do you select 30 to 40? There also risk analysis comes into play. Basing on the risk rating of each and every audit area, you will select out of the 80, I will select about 30 to 40 based on the risk score. We give risk score to every audit area. That methodology also we will discuss in detail and tell you how you select the audit area, how do you give the risk score for each and every audit area. Basing on the risk score, you select 30 to 40 out of the 80. This also we will look into it in a detailed manner, practical manner. How do we go about it? So, to go into the topics which we are going to discuss here, positioning of risk management function. There may be a company where internal audit department is there, internal control department is there, risk management department is there. These three departments may be there. There may be some companies where internal audit and risk management are combined in the single person. That also may be there. So we will look into three scenarios in various companies when we talk about practical audit of risk management function. We will look into that. Then we understand risks in depth by taking examples or illustrations of various risks, day-to-day risk, enterprise risk, business risk. Take some examples. You will also participate in giving answers to that, so that deep understanding can be had about the risk. Then various types of risk: operational risk, strategic risk, hazardous risk, security risk, so many things we will look into it. Then management styles, as I told you, number of management styles are there. In a brief manner, we will look into it. Also the risk management by risk also, we will look into it. Then what are the responsibilities of internal auditor as per the definition given by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India? There are various institutes who have given definition for internal audit. Institute of Internal Auditors, headquartered in Florida, they have also given. Our own institute has also given a definition. As per the definition, what are the responsibilities of internal auditors? Where does the audit of risk management function comes in the definition that we will look into it. Then we go into the risk management process in an entire manner. When I say risk management process, risk assessment includes risk identification, then causes for risk, sources of risk or root cause for the risk, then likelihood of happening of the risk or probability of occurrence of the risk, then if it occurs, what is the impact, what is the consequence, what is the loss that may be sustained. Then how do you rate, how do you profile the risk, how do you rate the risk rating, that also we will see. And then applying internal controls to mitigate the risk, that is risk treatment we will see. Then risk monitoring, risk reporting, all such things totally we will look into it, so that you will understand how to go about auditing of risk management function. The entire risk management function, we will break them into various steps and phases. We will look into it, so that it is like this. You must know accounting well for doing auditing. First comes accounting, then come auditing. Likewise, I will explain to you risk management function as a whole. Then automatically you will know what to look for when you audit the risk management department. Then accelerate risk assessment cycle. In fact, risk assessment cycle is a long drawn process. In a company of medium size. Let us talk, very small companies may not have these kind of departments and all that. So we will take medium and large. So organization chart. As I told you, chairman, CEO, managing director. Below that, line function, service function. Under line function, production, plant maintenance, safety, materials management, then marketing, F&A. All these come under line function. In fact, about 10-20 years ago, finance and accounts function was considered as service function, not as a line function. But nowadays, every company has recognized the importance and criticality of F&A, and it is a line function. Then under service function comes information system services, personnel and administration, internal audit, risk management, and internal control. There are companies who are having internal audit department, internal control department, and then risk management department. Like that, 3 departments are available. And some companies will have only internal audit, they may not have internal control, and risk management they may have or may not have. Now, what are these 3 scenarios under risk management? That next slide. Click one more. So, yeah, you keep everything. In a company where, click one more time. Yeah, retain there. Internal control department is there, internal audit department is there, risk management department is there, chief risk officer is a separate audit person is available, risk assessment they do, risk register they prepare and keep it to you, so that the internal auditor can make use of the risk register, and basing on the risk rating and all that, you select the areas, your job is made easy. Job of internal auditor is made easy. So, internal audit department has to audit the risk management function in this scenario, because internal audit department is independent of risk management function. Next slide, sir. Scenario 2. Stay there. Here, internal audit department is there, but chief audit executive and the chief risk officer are combined posts. There are very many large companies also, I don't want to name the company, big companies where internal auditor post and chief risk officer post are held by one single person, internal audit department itself. So they do risk assessment, everything, risk register and all that. In that case, internal audit cannot do the audit of risk management function, because they themselves are handling risk management function. So then who will do the audit? Click, sir. You can give it to me, the slide changes. So, external agency has to do the audit of risk management function in this case. Other scenario, IA department is there, chief audit executive is there, risk assessment done by external consultant, and risk register prepared by external consultant. In this scenario, internal audit department can do the audit of risk management. You follow these 3 scenarios, any doubts are there in your mind? In the first scenario, it is clear that internal auditor of the organization can do the audit of risk management. In the second scenario, internal auditor is combined with risk management function, so he cannot do the audit. External consultant has to be appointed. In the third scenario, the risk management function is done by the external consultant, so internal auditor can do the risk management function. So ICAI can audit the risk management. Then, understanding risks in depth. Before going into risk management process, let us look at illustrations of risk and mitigation measures. I am going to tell you number of risks, you are going to tell me mitigation measure. First thing, accident due to wet floor. In a shop floor, in a company or in a restaurant, because the floor is wet, somebody has fallen down, either the employee or staff or customer has fallen down. So accident occurs, he is going to claim damages on the owner of the restaurant or the company. How are you going to reduce the risk in this kind of scenario? What is the risk mitigation measure? Please participate. Please give your answer. Floor mat. Okay, floor mat is one answer.
Placing a notification. Having a warning.
No.
Warning board.
Warning board, what kind of warning board?
Floor is wet.
Floor is wet. See, we find in restroom when we go, a small signboard will be there. Floor is wet, be careful, kind of thing. Yeah, that's a good measure. Then what else? In a restaurant, due to some accident, if damages happen to the customer, he is going to claim damages with the owner of the organization. What kind of other measures, risk mitigation measures can be done? Say, keep it clean. As many of you have said, keep the area clean. It is not for aesthetic value, it is from safety point of view. Keep it clean and train the staff. Training to be given to the staff on how to handle. Even in a restaurant, you have to train the waiters and other people how to carry the items, dishes, vessels and all that. All those training has to be given. And another point which is very important is insurance. Insurance for such damages, if you have, if there is a claim, the claim will be settled by the insurance company. You can mitigate the loss occurring in this kind of scenario. Next one, customer data theft. In a petrol bunk or in an establishment or in a restaurant, you go and give your credit card, they will swipe it. But they know the ways of stealing the credit card data. That person, what he does, he notes down the credit card number, name of the person in the credit card, CVV number, expiry date, everything he notes down. At the end of the day, there are people who, with the pollution, they will come and take the data. He will give 20 data or 30 data or 40 data. Each data he will get about 50 rupees. So he will make a few thousand rupees every day. This is the thing happening. So how to reduce this kind of risk? What kind of mitigation measure can be there? Yes, sir.
Has to be done by the customer.
Pardon?
Swiping has to be done by the customer only.
Swiping has to be done by the customer only. One answer. Many times in press and information given by companies, they recall the product. What is it? Can you explain what is that? Yeah, please tell me, sir.
The product is a
Typically,
defective.
what happens is that typically in case of
of the time they find the they
Correct.
somewhere.
Correct.
What they do is because they can identify the batch, then they will give an ad saying all these people record.
Yeah.
Go activating the serial number and they will replace.
Correct. And at the cost of the company, entire batch of vehicles will be replaced or repaired or whatever. It is a huge expenditure for the manufacturer. See, after launch of the vehicle, people go on purchasing the vehicle and lot of complaints come, similar complaints come, braking system failure or gear system failure or engine battery, so many areas there can be a error. So the company gives a newspaper report issue saying that all those products purchased during a particular period or batch number or engine number, accession number, you please bring the vehicle, we will repair. That means it is a very huge expenditure. How are you going to mitigate that kind of huge expenditure? How are you going to meet with the huge expenditure? What kind of mitigation measure is applicable here?
Sure. Quality control before the goods are dispatched. Quality control.
Yeah, quality control is one thing. After quality control only the product is released, launch date is coming, so they are releasing the product. Afterwards only on the run they find errors or mistakes or problems, then they recall. So this is a sheer risk element, having an uncertainty. You are not sure whether it is going to come or not. So how are you going to mitigate? There is a method which is being followed by many companies, big companies, that is product recall earmarked fund. What they do, at the time of launch of the vehicle itself, the financial controller or CFO recommends to the top management, there may be some issue at the future point in time, so you may have to recall the product or vehicle, car or whatever. Even machinery it happens, not only the automobile, car. Machinery happens which is not known to us because they directly deal with the customer who has purchased the machine. They don't issue a press release or anything. But automobile company, they give a press release, we all come to know whether it is car or motorcycle. So the earmarked fund, because the expenditure is running into hundreds of crores for a big company where even 10,000 vehicles are recalled. More vehicles are also recalled, we have seen. So earmarked fund is the answer.
Insurance can't be taken, sir.
Pardon?
Insurance can't be taken.
I don't think any insurance policy we have not encountered. If there is such a policy, insurance is also an answer, I can say. I can agree with you.
Because only a huge amount is blocked.
Huge amount is blocked. Yes, yes sir.
Now, see, normally I think in all of us India, whenever some of these words direct from manufacturers.
Can you pass on the mic, sir?
Yeah, here it is.
So that everybody can listen.
Hello. We have a system of warranties, right? For the warranty, you know that when he bills you at the time of sale, he takes his 1 year warranty, 2 year warranty, 3 year warranty, he takes an extra amount from you. That is one. I mean, I'm not saying it is going to take away the impact of this, but it minimizes the outflow for the company. The second is, since some of these products are also outsourced component assembly, they also take a back-to-back, kind of indemnity from the supplier of the components. That is very prevalent in
Automobile companies. That is
or even aircraft.
that is one thing. But in my opinion, warranty is entirely different. Product recall is entirely different. This is a sudden mistake or error or something problem encountered by customer which is not known at all. and in huge quantity. Warranty is a different category in my opinion. This is a different category.
I agree with you, but all that I'm saying is that quite a number of times, when you find that if the company really tracks its warranty demand by the customer, it can give an idea before it becomes very huge.
Correct. That's a good point. Warranty will also take care of some of the, it will give a cushion.
Yeah, pre-warning.
But a earmarked fund for product recall is the one way of handling it. That is one way of handling it. Many companies do follow this kind of system. In our experience, we have encountered. When we discuss with CFOs of automobile giants, they confer like this. That is why I am giving this as an answer.
Can I also add one more?
Yeah.
Can this, like you said about possibility of insurance, now it can also be a reputational loss coverage.
Yeah.
Can that be an insurable risk and covered in insurance?
Yeah, that's right. Insurable risk, if it is insurable risk, I have not encountered any insurance policy for this kind of huge unknown expenditure. That has not been told by any of the CFOs of automobile companies in our experience. If there is a way like insurance, it is nothing like that. That is a good solution. We can explore the possibility, definitely.
What is being said that CFOs of the companies and CEOs should also be aligned to what's happening in the marketplace. Then go and start talking to insurance companies.
Yeah, correct. We should talk to the insurance company and find out the possibility of having a cover for such kind of eventualities. Yeah, then comes bath, shower, sudden stoppage. See, you are staying in a hotel. For some official work, you go to some other place like Bombay or Hyderabad or Delhi. You stay in a hotel. This can happen in your home also, but in a hotel atmosphere, you are taking bath, shower bath. Suddenly the shower stops. It has happened to me also once. That is why I am including this as one of the examples. So, what happened? Only the air comes, not the water. And after some time, water comes, which is cold water, not hot water. This is the situation which we encountered, and nothing could be done. And we have to take the towel, wipe out the soap, everything, and come out and then go and shout at the service provider. All that thing happened. What is the risk mitigation measure in such an eventuality? Whether it is in a hotel or in your home itself, what kind of mitigation measure, any steps if you take in advance so that this kind of risk can be avoided? Please tell me, sir. Think over and tell me. Yes, sir.
Whether service provider has to take mitigation or the person who is taking their part.
Yes, any other? Yeah, tell me, sir.
Now, two possibilities. One is that you perhaps have to keep the maintenance of your shower cap because
Okay.
today what happens is kind of the salt in your water system.
Keep the mic, sir.
Hello,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
See, today the kind of quality of water which is also brackish.
Yeah.
Most of the time,
Particles are there which is blocking the.
blocking that.
Yeah.
So typically, let me tell you what my wife does in my house.
Ah.
She removes and with a thin minute.
Yeah. You have to clean it periodically.
That's one. Second is that again, it's again a maintenance. And of course, it's worst case because you can keep a cover water all the time.
Exactly. That is what I am meaning, sir. In fact, keep a bucket full of water in the bathroom always. In fact, in my home, that is the practice. They say, from good woman point of view, always there should be water at home. They say, many people say like, and just like that they store water, at least 1 or 2 buckets full of water, always it will be there. And at times of water not coming in the tap or something like that, it is really found helpful. And in the case of bath shower stopping immediately, suddenly, this comes to the rescue. So this as a day-to-day example I have given. Next thing, food allergy. In a restaurant, allergy foods or ingredients are added, so it is allergic to some people. So they take the food and then they claim damages, file a complaint with the owner, ask for damages kind of thing. How will you mitigate such a risk to the owner of the restaurant? What kind of measure you can take so that food allergy problems reported by the customer and damages being claimed, you can avert. You can tell, no, I have done like this, so you cannot claim like that. What kind of measure? Disclaimer. How will you make it?
Contains allergic items.
Yeah, in fact, I'll tell you. Specify the ingredients going into the dish in the menu card itself. You find many of the restaurants, fine dining restaurants, in the menu dishes, within bracket they will mention these are the ingredients going into the making of the thing. Many people are allergic to wheat. They say gluten-free food. They specifically say it is called gluten-free. That means without containing wheat flour. That is called gluten-free. Many people are allergic to gluten. So gluten-free food they mention. Otherwise they will give the ingredients so that people will know, those who are allergic to it, they will not order that. So it can save you from botheration. That is one thing. Then vendor unable to supply critical raw material. I am emphasizing it is a critical raw material, manufacturing company, the vendor unable to supply suddenly, so because of which production stoppage happens. So production line, one line, if one process is stopped, subsequent process is also stopped, it is a big downtime, production downtime. This happens. How will you mitigate such a eventuality, risk? Vendor unable to supply critical raw material, not just ordinary raw material. Yeah, please. Alternate vendor. Yeah, that is a good answer. But there are some caveat for that. I will tell you. Any other answer, sir? Yes, sir. You give me. Sir.
What happens is two things. One is that I'm giving a very live example. I'm actually on the board. And we have one very critical chemical, which is forming part of the overall, but in terms of value, very easy. But in terms of the criticality of that, it's very high.
Exactly.
And currently, worldwide, there is only one manufacturer in China.
Okay.
Pollution.
Okay.
Now, we have been trying for the last 5 years. Trying to keep the company to go there, and back. So then we have started, investing money into some kind of, like we have this IITs,
IIT.
research project.
Yeah.
Where whether some other substitute can be
Correct.
used.
Correct.
Giving the same reaction.
Correct.
Remove this. Because it's time consuming, but we have started working for the last 3 years.
In fact, I will tell you, it's a good thing that substitute should be there, but I am saying for a critical raw material in a particular manufacturing atmosphere, there is no substitute. That is why it is critical. There is no substitute. So, how will you mitigate? One answer, practical answer will be alternate supplier, but even here, not simple alternate supplier. For any critical raw material, there should be minimum 3 vendors, 3 suppliers, number 1 point. Second most important point is, all the three vendors should not be located in the same area. Suppose your factory is in Guindy Industrial Estate. Your critical raw material supplier should not be located in Chennai, say Ambattur Industrial Estate, all the people, because if any eventuality comes, like flooding or cyclone or anything, all the suppliers will be affected. So one supplier should be in one area, another supplier another area, another supplier another area. Likewise, you must have. So that is the alternate supplier in alternate locations we should have. That is how we mitigate the losses. Then comes faculty coming late. See, I am a faculty for this program. I am unable to come on time. Instead of 10 o'clock, I come at 10:30 or 10:45 kind of thing. So much time is wasted for the delegates who have arrived on time. So what kind of measures? The reason may be, on the way I am coming from home to here, there is a blockage of traffic by the traffic police, and they say you have to take a circuitous route, different route you go, and then I come here, that is why I am late. So what kind of mitigation measure I should have followed so that I come on time? Because no fault of mine, I am getting ready at the correct time, I am starting, but there is a traffic blockage due to some accident happening on the way. So because of that road is blocked, I have to take a circuitous route and I have to reach the place. That is why I am late. What kind of mitigation measure I should have followed? Yes, sir.
I'll again give my personal experience. I used to be a teaching faculty for
For sir?
LIBA.
Laila Institute of Business Management Administration.
And also for Institute of Management Research.
Very good.
Okay. My domain is project finance, risk, whatever you call it. It so happened that after the retirement.
Sir, Mike sir.
So after my retirement, I just tried to help one of the friends in microfinance.
Okay.
Accumulated good amount of domain management, I didn't know the spelling of microfinance. Because I used to work with ICAI, bigger company. So, NIPA introduced in 1 year, couple of years back, a special module on microfinance for the MBA students. And one of the institution head, who was heading the division in the bank, he had offered to come and run the program for NIPA didn't. Suddenly the gentleman took seriously you. So they had announced students have been sort of enrolled.
Oh.
And people could not do it. Then they contacted ISMR. And ISMR told them, asked the people to talk to me.
Institute of Financial Management and Research, Nungambakam.
So these are people are asked to contact me.
Okay.
So the dean called me. So we ran the program for about 5 years. Continuously, very glad to know that I have a lot of. So one other thing is that you also have, I'm talking about a larger concept, but again, trying to open to even to say, for example, like what we are talking about today. See, I'm sure one among these people could get in for you and talk.
Yeah, I will tell you, sir. You are right, very much on the dot, saying that standby or substitute faculty should be available. That is one thing.
Yeah, let me complete. For example, I find from your profile that you are a partner of a firm, you are specializing in that. It is quite possible sometimes when the audience is critical audience, and you have to be there, you always have somebody from the firm also be available here.
Correct.
So that person steps in and talks.
Correct. That is one thing. But one thing, one simple answer lies for this kind of delay. I will tell you. even when you go to railway station to catch a train, or even when you go to airport to catch a flight, what you have to estimate or contingency plan you should have, that there may be traffic diversion, the driver may go slow, or some accident may happen, something may happen. So that if normally from your home to airport 1 hour is required, you should start 2 hours before, so that whatever be the diversion or circuitous route, you will reach in time. So here my answer is, simple answer, start early, double the time you allot. I have reached the place 9:15 itself because I started double the time. I am in T Nagar, I have to come here, it will take only 10-12 minutes by car. But I have started double the time early, so that I reached here by 9:20 itself. That is sure way of handling, simple solution. Then,
Sir, actually the mitigation is for person who is conducting the program, no?
no,
Institute is
I
conducting-
said, conducting the program mitigation is also there. I will come to that.
You have given mitigation for a person who...
For the faculty is responsible, Faculty should be responsible that he should reach in time. So I should be responsible enough to start early. I cannot simply say a reason, sir, traffic diversion, so I am going to be late, you have some other standby faculty, like that I cannot say. So I should have responsibility. Then another thing, faculty absent, another thing. Faculty is unable to come, absent, because accident happens to the faculty himself, to the faculty's car itself, there is an accident. In the earlier case, accident to somebody else, because of which you are asked to take a circuitous route. But in this case, faculty absent because accident happened to him, he has gone to the hospital. So what kind of mitigation measures? Here comes standby faculty or substitute faculty will be the answer. And also you must have standby faculty is one answer. Insurance also should be there so that the faculty can take an insurance claim for the accident kind of thing. So these are the 8 examples we have discussed. We will now go into characteristics of risk. When we say risk, uncertainty should be there. If it is certain to happen, any loss or impact or consequence certain to happen, it is not known as risk. Uncertainty is there. It may happen, may not happen, but degree of happening, likelihood of happening, probability of happening may be very near 1. Probability 1 means it is certain it will happen, it is not a risk. Probability 0.99999 is also risk only, because probability is not 1. That is how. So uncertainty should be there. Then cannot eliminate, only mitigate. Risk means you cannot eliminate. Eliminate means reduction by 100%, which is not possible. Only you can reduce the risk. That is why we use the word mitigation or reduction. We don't say elimination. Then downside loss. For every risk there will be a loss, definitely. But there can be gain also, upside also, opportunity also, gain is also there, if effective treatment is given to the risk. Treatments are 4 T's are there. Treatment: terminate, transfer, treat, tolerate. So this I will explain a bit later as we go by. What kind of termination plan, what kind of transfer plan, treatment plan and tolerate plan. That if you follow, you will be gainful at the end. At the end of it, there will be a surplus or gain will be there instead of loss. But certain risks, I have not characteristic. uncertainty, I told you, cannot eliminate, only mitigate. Then downside loss, upside, terminate, transfer, treat, tolerate. And then last one, certain risk, always loss. What kind of risk will end up in loss? However type of mitigation measure you are having, you will end up in loss. Can you tell, sir? Yes, sir.
Failure of the transmission line.
Pardon?
Failure of the transmission line in the
Okay. That is one answer. But transmission line and all, it is operational risk. But in the case of hazardous risk like fire accident, cyclone, flood kind of thing, even if you have an insurance policy will not give the entire damage or loss. There will be some deduction for certain things. So you will end up in a net loss only. So that you must understand. Certain risks are always end up in a loss. Then some quotable quotes I want to give you. That is, know your friend close, your enemy is closer. So negative point, that is why people say, you don't keep on appreciating me, you tell me what is I am lacking. So that will help me to improve. That is how you must know your friend close, but your enemy is closer. And know your opportunities well and your risks very well. You must know your risks very well. Then, no universally accepted definition of risk is available. That is told by Harold Skipper, who is the world-renowned risk management guru. He once said, there can be various types of definition, no universally accepted definition. In fact, I can give you this thing. A situation is risky if a range of outcome exists and actual outcome not known in advance. Another thing I can tell you, risk management is all about vulnerability, and taking steps to reduce it is the risk management all about. So this is one thing. Then we will go into types of risk. Operational risk. Vendor unable to supply is an operational risk. Is it visible, sir? Letters are very small. Then accidents, that is also operational risk. Then internal control weakness is an operational risk. Then no segregation of duties, division of duties, segregation of duties, that is operational risk. Then no delegation of authority. Financial delegation of authority is also very good internal control measure. If that is not there, this will happen. Then you have no bank reconciliation statement, this will happen. Then no physical verification system, that is also this will happen. Then hazardous risk. Hazardous risk, fire, floods, cyclone, earthquake, all these are hazardous risks. Then strategic risk. New product introduced resulting in loss. See, the management takes a decision to introduce a new product but ends up in a loss kind of situation. That is a strategic, comes under the category of strategic risk. Merger unsuccessful, that is also a strategic risk. Or change in market condition, petrol price up, less running of the vehicle, so tire sales down. For the tire company, it is a sale. We can give various types of examples. This is one example of change in market condition. Then comes competitor action, introduction of EV, electric vehicle or CNG car kind of thing. That is also your strategic risk. Then financial risk, forex fluctuation, and then interest rate fluctuation. Then comes environmental risk, air pollution, then extreme temperatures. These are all examples. Radiation, toxic waste. Then comes security risk, data leakage in cloud environment. In fact, many of the people are hesitating to buy a cloud-based software packages, because in a cloud-based atmosphere, your data server residing somewhere not in your premises. So it is technically known that there is a secure area, that is private cloud area and public area. Due to certain technical reasons, your data will be kept in the public area for some time for working, computation kind of thing, and the system may forget to bring it back to the protected area or private data area. So that kind of risk will always be there. That is why people say cloud-based atmosphere means it is risky. It is open to access to hackers kind of thing. That is one thing. Then comes, that is cloud-based data leakage in cloud environment. Then comes denial of service attack. That is, you are having a website, the hacker keeps on sending thousands of messages to your website, responding to your website. So makes it impossible for your website to operate properly. For the genuine user, it is not available. That is called denial of service attack. Then comes piggybacking. In a physical access control atmosphere, one person with the authorized ID card, showing the ID card, he enters. Another person behind him, closely behind him, he also enters. That is called piggyback kind of thing. Then comes phishing attack. Phishing attack, everybody knows. Emails are sent very widely, and people responding to the link given in the email will be in a problem. Either using the confidential data he may get, hacker may get, or he may install malware kind of thing. So these are all examples of various types of risk. Now let us look at management styles. Management by objective is one thing. You go by the goals or objectives. To achieve the goals and objectives, you are taking steps in the management style. That is called the management by objective. Then comes management by exception. You find out the deviations and exceptions, and accordingly you proceed with your achievement of the goals. That is called management by exception. Then management by carrot and stick. You reward the person who is doing well, punish the person who is not doing well. That is kind of carrot and stick style of management. Then threats. There are some managers who follow this system of management by threats. They will always keep the people under tenterhooks they will be threatening the people, you will be punished if you don't do the work. So that is one style of management. And the last one, the current one and the better one is management by risk. This is what we are going to see now, risk management. Now, responsibilities of internal auditor as per the definition. Advisory role is one thing, assurance role is another thing for any internal auditor as per the definition. Under the assurance role, you comply with the rules and regulations, statutory obligations, laws, procedures, policies, whether everything is happening according to the procedure, policy, laws, regulation. That is one role. Another one is advisory role. Three things are coming under that category: review of internal control system, review of corporate governance system, review of risk management system. So these are the three areas coming under the advisory role. So risk management system review is the duty of the internal auditor. We cannot say internal auditor will not review the risk management department. It is the duty of the internal auditor of the company, whether it is a company or external internal auditor. The risk management function, if it is a separate department, you audit the department. If the risk management function is handled by a consultant, you audit that also. So that is where we are coming into the picture. What is this risk management process? Entire process. As I told you, identification, excuse me, 11:30 coffee arrange பண்ணிருக்காங்களா பாருங்க. அப்ப break விட்டுறலாம் இல்லையா? Now 11:30 we'll have a 5-10 minutes break for coffee and snack. Yeah, slides will be given to all of you. I have told the organizer at the end of the session, you might have given at the time of registration your email ID, so they will email to you the PowerPoint slides. We'll have documents. Continue our discussion. Risk management entire process is like this: identification of risk, root cause of risk, likelihood of occurrence of risk or probability of occurrence of risk, impact, if it occurs, what is the impact or consequence or loss. After that, you have to profile the risk. Profiling means rating, risk rating. Some companies rate it like this: high, medium, low, but many companies do extreme, then high, then medium, then low, 4 categories. And then treatment, 4 T's, as I was talking to you about termination, treatment, toleration, transfer kind of thing. That I will explain. Then risk register you have to prepare. Then reporting of risk to the managing director or audit committee kind of thing. This is the entire risk management process. Risk management process, first thing is identification. You have to interview people for identifying risk. How do you go about? You have to question the people, interview the people, various departmental heads. You have to call for a meeting when you want to do risk assessment. Your internal audit people are the one side of the table, other side of the table, various departmental heads, you call them along with their assistant general manager, assistant manager kind of thing, and you ask them about their department, what are the risks in their department, what are the activities. You must be thorough with the business, you must have good business knowledge, operational knowledge, then only you can ask right question to the right people. So, first let us take safety manager. In a manufacturing company, you are going to find out the risks, you are going to identify the risks in the safety department of the company. So you ask the safety manager, there are number of buildings, administration building, technical service building, factory building, plant and machinery. It's a huge setup you have. How have you taken care of the risk of fire to the building or whatever? What kind of measures you have taken? You are asking him. He will tell proudly, sir, we have installed a fire detection system. What kind of fire detection system have you installed? You ask him. He says, heat detector. In so many places, we have installed heat detectors so that when there is a fire, there will be heat. It will detect the heat and it will give an alarm. In the safety manager cabin, production general manager cabin, fire service department cabin, then nearby fire service station, government run by government, we have an understanding MOU with them, we pay them regularly. So alarm will come there also if there is a fire. He has. But you question him, you are saying you have installed heat detector system. Can't you think of a better detection system than heat detector? Because when there is a fire, mostly happens in the false ceiling due to electrical short circuit, fire happens. When fire happens, புகை இல்லாம இது இருக்காதுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So first smoke only will come because it is all polymer, plastic material, false ceiling, wire, everything. First smoke will come, later on heat will come. So by the time heat is generated, it will be delayed. So your detection system, which is a heat detector system, will detect the fire late only, not quickly. So you should have installed smoke detector system instead of heat detector system, you say. So immediately you note down there is a risk in this department. It will go to the risk register. What is the risk mitigation measure? You remove all the heat detector, purchase a smoke detector. It involves cost. Cost benefit analysis you have to see. The management has to agree, top management has to agree for additional investment, how much it will cost. So whatever you have installed. So this is one thing with the safety manager. Then this is about detection. Then what is the extinguishing system you have employed, you ask it. He will proudly say, sir, we have installed a sprinkler system for extinguishing the fire. What sprinkler? Water sprinkler. Again you ask him, if it is a water sprinkler system, of course it will douse the fire, but it will damage the area, it will damage the computer in the area, it will damage the furniture in the area, it will damage the documents in the area. So all these damages will happen. So the better sprinkler system will be halogen sprinkler system, gas, halogen gas. Halogen gas will douse the fire. It is not like carbon dioxide. If it is CO2, it is bad for the human people because they will die, living beings will die. So you should have installed halogen gases. Again you note down, there is a risk in the safety department. Likewise you question him. This is one area, safety area. Then let us go to plant maintenance manager. These people will go away. You ask the plant maintenance people, maintenance GM, manager, assistant, everyone, 4 or 5 people will come. You will be sitting one side. You ask him, you have a huge plant. You have installed number of plant and equipment, various machineries. Are you stocking insurance spares all the time? You put a question to him. His answer may be yes or no, or he may say, what is meant by insurance spares, sir? I am not aware. He may say like that. Then you tell him, insurance spare means critical spares for a particular machine. When you are purchasing a machinery or equipment or instrument, the manufacturer or the supplier will give a list of spares which are known as insurance spares, otherwise called as critical spares, which are a must. Whenever you buy the machinery, you should buy the insurance spare also and stock it. When there is a machinery breakdown or downtime, if you have the spare parts stock ready, you can repair it, replace it, and then downtime will be reduced. If he says, I am not aware of insurance, what is meant by insurance, that is a risk you note down. Or he may say, no sir, we don't stock. All that by word of mouth, whatever he tells, we are not going to accept. We are internal auditors. If he says, we have purchased insurance spares and stocking, you ask him for the purchase invoice, verify that, and see the material receipt note, MRN, what is the date of purchase, date of MRN, you verify whether it has gone into the store, whether it is available. All that we are going to do, evidence gathering. As audit procedure, evidence gathering also we will do. I am cutting short all those procedures because we all know as auditors. So he tells, we have not stocked means you write down. So that is very important, insurance spares, critical spares. Every manufacturer will give you, whether you are buying a medical equipment or plant or CNC machine, computer numerical control operated machine, they will give list of spares which are insurance spares. Why it is called insurance spares? It is insured against downtime or loss. That is why the word insurance spare, otherwise no significance. It is a critical spare, without which you will have, sometimes the insurance spare as critical spare may not be available when you want to buy. The supplier will say, we have to import it from Bombay or some other place, air freight. For quick delivery, air freight you have to incur. Otherwise it will take time. By the time, downtime, production loss, man-days loss, everything is there. That is why insurance spares is so very important, that it should be stocked in the store always whenever there is a machine is there. That is plant maintenance manager. Then comes procurement manager. Procurement manager, purchase manager in other words, those people come and sit. you sit on the one side and ask him, totally how many raw materials are being used in your company? He says 22. For example, there may be much more. If you see the part number, various categories, it may run into hundreds also, raw material, but major components 22. Out of 22, how many are critical raw material for which there are no substitute? If the critical raw material is not in supply, production line will stop, downtime will be there. What kind of critical raw material? How many out of 22? He will say 7. For these 7, take first item. How many suppliers you are having? He will say, I am having one supplier. He is a very good supplier. He delivers promptly. He is a very quality products he gives. He is located nearby, all that. That itself is a risk. For a critical raw material, you are having only one supplier. That is a risk. Then raw material, critical raw material 2. How many suppliers? He will say, sir, I have 3 suppliers. Okay, good. For a critical raw material, you are having 3 suppliers. It is a very good thing. But where are they located, you ask him. He says, very nearby, sir. All are located in the same area. That is a risk. As I already told you, they should not be located in the same area, because if there is a fire or accident or cyclone or flooding or any other trouble, every supplier in the same area will be affected. He will not be able to supply, supplier unable to give the material kind of thing. So he should be located in a different place. So that risk you write down. That is how you interview or question him. Then comes project engineer. You ask him, project engineer, there are number of safety control measures are there. Let us go into that. How to click on that blue this thing?
Linker, hyperlink.
Safety controls in construction, erection project. Every company, it is not necessary that you should be a builder or a constructor, real estate developer. Even a manufacturing plant may have to install or do a project, additional project, mirror image of the plant kind of thing. So in that atmosphere, what kind of controls are required? Helmets and hard hats should be there. Then safety glasses should be there. Then steel-toed boots should be there. Whether all these things are there, you check with him. If he says any of things is not there, that is a risk, you note down. That will go to the risk register, mitigation measure, immediate steps have to be taken. Then gloves. Then these are all for any project, erection project or construction project. These are the things which are required. Then protection gear, when there is a high-rise building work is going on, high-rise workers, protection gear should be there. Then safety training has to be given. High-rise building, safety training has to be given. Then first aid kit, whether safety training is given, you ask him. If he says you have to check the schedule, whether it has actually taken place and all that, you know how to audit or gather evidence. First aid kit and doctor on call, that should be available. first aid kit and doctor on call. Then essential amenities such as clean drinking water and restroom should be provided. Then insurance cover should be there. Then safety audit, SHE audit. SHE means safety, health and environment audit. Regularly should be conducted, at least twice a year it should be conducted. All these things are there, you have to check. Then you go backwards. 1 second, I'll tell you. So that is relating to identification of risk. Then comes root cause analysis of risk. How will you do? Root cause analysis. Repeated accident insurance claim, driver issue. I will give you one actual example which we encountered, where we did root cause analysis and found out the real reason, what is the actual reason. See, in a company where we are internal auditors, road accident claims are repeatedly coming. So we got the exception report, insurance claims were being preferred repeatedly. When we checked and analyzed, it is happening to a one single vehicle. There are fleet of vehicle, car or something, Innova, various other vehicle. It is happening to one vehicle, one driver. Whenever that driver drives, the accident happens. So we had to tell him, you are not fit to be a driver. We will be sending you out of the company. And second day, personnel manager gets a call from the MD. MD tells, see, this person's wife is working in our home as a maid, and if you send him out of the company, there will not be income for him, salary income. He cannot get a job quickly, immediately. So it will be a problem. Wife is telling MD's wife that give him some other job and retain him. Instead of a driver, you retain him as a clerk or assistant or somebody like that. Don't oust him. She is pleading with the wife of the MD. She is a good worker. That is why wife is obliged. She tells her husband, who is MD, somehow retain him. So the message comes to the personnel department, don't oust him, retain him as an assistant. But we find that his education is not enough to be a clerk or assistant. He has to be sent out. Then it comes to the risk management department, which is coordinated by risk assessment, risk identification, root cause analysis, all are coordinated by risk management department, internal audit department, internal control department, and audit people also. So we have to do root cause analysis. What internal audit people we said, let us analyze what kind of accidents are happening. We went into the claim forms in a detailed manner. Where it happens, how it happens, what kind of driving he does. Is he going high speed, or is he not having driving license or kind of thing. All the driving license he has and all that, he is not going high speed and all. But we found on root cause analysis in-depth study, accidents happen only when he is driving in the highway. If he is driving within the city assignment, accident do not happen. Only in the highway, he is not good in driving in the highway. So, we gave a solution to the MD and personnel manager. Keep him as a driver because he is not suitable for clerk post or assistant post. Keep him as a driver, but use him exclusively for city driving assignments only. That way, the problem is solved by doing root cause analysis. He is retained, MD is happy, MD's wife is happy, employee driver is happy, driver's wife is also happy. That is how we settle the matter. So this is how root cause analysis you have to do. Then another thing, repeated sales returns as defectives, quality control issue. In another company, exception reports say, deviation reports say, sales returns of a particular product are coming from the customers frequently, but when we checked the quality control reports, quality testing report, everything, it is pakka. It has undergone all the quality tests. It is passed by quality assurance department. Then only it is released for delivery, and it has gone. But it is coming back as defective. When you check, there is a defect. This is how it is coming. Again, root cause analysis we had to do. So what we did, we asked the quality control manager, we asked the production manager, foreman, then internal auditor, production manager, everybody was there. We asked him, totally for this product to become finished product, how many processes are there? He says 9 processes are there. Then we checked how many stages quality control checking takes place. It is only 7. So 2 things are missing. How it is missing? At 2 points checking is not conducted. Only 7 points quality checks are conducted. Then we came to know from the production manager, these 2 additional processes have been introduced recently, 6 months ago, and there is no proper training given to the quality assurance people for these 2 additional processes. That is why there is no checking envisaged. Checking is not done. Without 2 additional checking, it is going on. That is how it is happening. So we rectified the defect and then found out quality control issue. This is how we have made root cause analysis. Then cash crunch, working capital mismanagement. We all know long-term funds used for short-term funds or short-term funds used for long-term funds, and debtors and creditors mismatch. You are not able to pay debtor because you are not able to pay creditor because debtor is not paying properly. There is no debtor management, receivables management properly. All those problems are there. Then project cost overrun. Project cost overrun. Flooding happened. That is why that entire area is flooded. That is why project got delayed. So cost overrun has happened. So this kind of root cause analysis you have to perform. Then comes leakage of harmful gases. Because of the equipment failure, you find out when you conduct a source of risk, leakage of harmful gases because of the equipment failure, it happens. Then comes likelihood or probability of occurrence. This you have to analyze.
Sir, can I?
Yeah.
Root
Root
cause.
cause.
Can I example?
Michael.
Can you hear me? I'll just take only 2 minutes.
Yeah.
See, one company where, of course, I was the chairman of the audit committee, we found continuously in every quarter internal audit report, there was a flag on the, what do you call it, remittances to the sales tax department. And it was always showing that there are amounts prepaid, amounts prepaid. When we asked for a separate special audit on that, we found what they were doing was, it was a forensic, instead of fraud. So what they were doing is, they would give, you know that, all of you were practically familiar, that they take it to the government favor of the Reserve Bank of India, and then put that to the tax authority.
Yeah. Additional.
Yeah. What before I used to do was, the solution within starting from the high court writing a check to the managing director, who was a professional. He will write RBI, and he won't put anything with a blank, all of them will sign. After this sign, he will put some benami account to which the check will be deposited, the amount will be drawn,
Yeah.
cash, and it will be shared. So when the whole thing was done, we found that there was a fraud of 35 crores,
Oh. Over a period of
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Now, I also say, like what you're saying about the creditors and receivables, just not only the
Correct.
receivables, but all
Correct.
transactions which are the two-way,
Correct.
you have to. But the horror was that some employees resigned and went away. They didn't remove his name from the check signing authority with the bank.
Correct.
That fellow was signing check and
Correct. I will tell you, similar case of fraud happened in one of our company where we were statutory auditor, not internal auditor. If we were internal auditor, we would have been taken to task. Fortunately, we were the statutory auditor. It is a company. Some full name of the company is there. Always that company is known by acronym. Say ABCD kind of thing, expansion is there. So what the people did, in a small cooperative bank in a village, Gramin Bank, they opened an account for the company in the acronym itself. ABCD, I am not telling the real name, I am telling ABCD. Maybe if it is Roger, ROGER, not the full name. He opened it. Then, whatever customers coming, he used to tell, he has a good contact with the customer. Hereafter, you have to give the check in the acronym itself, that also is valid. You need not write the full name. This happens in many a time in companies. So, whoever obliges and gives the check in the acronym, he will deposit in that village bank account and he will siphon off the funds. This is happening for the past 6 months, and by the time internal auditor were not finding out that, as statutory auditor we came at the end of the year. Statutory auditor is always post-mortem, not like big companies, MNC companies where throughout the year statutory auditor also does it and all that. But in this company, it's a medium-sized company. At the end of the year we go. By the time the fraud was found out, and internal auditor was also taken to task, and they found out this is the fraud, with the bank account opened like this, and all those checks were sent to that, and they have siphoned off the funds. That is how it happened. So, likelihood would depend upon so many factors. Likelihood of happening or probability of happening would depend upon high volume of transactions. Then high value of transactions. It is visible to you. Absence of division of duties, that is segregation of duties, is not there. Again, the likelihood is increased, probability of occurrence of fraud or risk will be there. Then geographically remote location, located remotely, again there will be a risky thing. Then weak internal control. Weak internal control will also lead to risk. Then errors due to high work pressure. Errors due to high work pressure. So, this we have already seen. Then likelihood, scale and scenario. What I would do, already 12:15 now, I will go a little bit faster, and I have been requested by the organizers to close it by 12:30 or so. Is it okay to you, all of you? I will go a little bit faster. Likelihood scenario, very rare to occur, may not occur, some possibility that it will occur, very likely to occur, and it will surely occur. That is the thing. So you give the likelihood scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. Then impact. After likelihood is studied, impact. If it occurs, what is the impact? What is the loss? What is the consequence? So that is the impact scale and evaluation criteria. This you have to, if the downtime, production downtime is 1 to 5 days, 5 to 7 days, 7 to 8 days, like that we categorize. Then in a SHE audit area, impact scale in a safety health environment, injury, minor injury, fatality, death, accordingly you categorize. Then comes, with all this you have to profile, risk profiling I told you. Extreme risk, high risk, moderate, low. So x-axis consequence or impact, y-axis likelihood or probability of occurrence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, x-axis, y-axis. This is how you have to categorize. After categorizing, your risk treatment. Risk treatment, it is coming. Terminate, transfer, treat, then tolerate, then comes residual risk. That is, terminate the risk means you stop the activity which is producing high amount of risk. You do not undertake that activity so that you avoid the risk entirely. Transfer means either transfer to subcontractor that activity or have an insurance policy by which risk is transferred to the insurance company. Treat means treatment by way of introducing sufficient, effective internal control system. Then tolerate means after introduction of internal control system, still further risks are there. You accept the risk based on the risk appetite of the company, that is tolerate. That is called residual risk. This is how you give the treatment. Then risk register. risk register will have all these things. Risks identified, incidents, then sources or causes of risk, likelihood and probability of risk, all that we have seen, impact and consequence, then profiling or rating, then treatment or mitigation measures, then residual risk. So this is the contents of the risk register. Then comes risk monitoring and reporting. Risk management is an ongoing process. Business environment is dynamic and constantly changing. Reporting on risk status to CEO or audit committee monthly or then and there. Then residual risk under constant watch, kept under constant watch. Then, as I told you, the accelerate the risk assessment cycle. Instead of going through the entire process and giving the report at the end, even in the case of internal audit, there are number of phases. If you want to conduct internal audit, initial study, studying the internal control, studying the previous audit report, then having a meeting with the auditee, then field preparing the audit program, then field work, then discussion draft, then discussion with the auditee, then final draft, then reply from auditee, final report. Like that, so many 10, 11 stages are there. Instead of doing everything in the same sequence, you have to do quickly and then give the report, because auditee nowadays are not ready to wait for longer duration. Similarly, risk assessment also you should do quickly in succession. Normal cycle time for any risk assessment will be 3 to 4 months, but accelerate, speed up and quicken. That is how we have to do. Even in the case of cloud ERP implementation cycle, I know from various vendors like SAP or Oracle, they have cloud version, they have for SME version. Instead of implementation, normally used to be 4 to 6 months. Nowadays they do it in 4 to 6 weeks implementation. That is how they operate in a quick manner. Also cost wise, instead of CAPEX model, OPEX model, operating expenditure, instead of capital expenditure, they give it as a operational expenditure, consumption, based on the consumption, or leasing the equipment. Even capital equipment, instead of buying, you lease it. That is there. Then ERP also comes under subscription model. You need not, you pay for the pay per use. That is how you do. That is how you have to accelerate. Then risk management function, whether risk assessment is properly done, you have to verify. Whether risk register is updated regularly, whether reporting to CEO audit committee is timely, whether risks are reported then and there, whether risk rating is done judiciously. These are the things you must do. Then features of risk management. Risk management is an art and not a science. Lot of judgments involved in likelihood, impact and rating, as you have seen already. Lot of judgments involved. Then expertise in internal control on the part of the auditor is required. Then thorough business knowledge is needed. Then for deciding likelihood and impact, past data are needed. Then risk assessment can outsource. You can outsource the risk assessment work, but not the treatment implementation work you cannot outsource. It has to be done inside the company. Then risk-based selection of audit areas. Prepare list of audit areas by referring to P&L, balance sheet, previous audit reports, auditee request. There may be auditee request also sometimes. Then comes audit committee recommendation. Audit committee also will give recommendation for including certain activities. So sample list of areas. These are the areas which you can think of, audit areas. For each audit area, earlier approach used to be sample list of areas. Earlier approach used to be you look into previous audit report, control weaknesses, audit resources available, auditee request, transaction quantity and value, all these things you will consider. Earlier audit approach. Now, new approach would be risk-based audit approach. Risks are rated extreme, high, medium, low. High risk areas, high priority. Low risk areas, low priority. Then comes risk-based annual audit plan. Criteria for estimating risk exposure. These are the 6 criteria in one company we have taken for estimating the risk exposure. 6 criteria we have taken. Annual income, division of segregation of duties, level of segregation of duties, previous audit findings, legal compliance, pilferable material, transaction quantity, quantum. All these things we have taken. For each criteria, you have to fix the risk level. Risk level you have to give. So, for each criteria, risk level is given based on the judgment of the auditor. Risk levels are defined. Afterwards, criteria 2, division of duties. Risk levels are given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will give the PowerPoint presentation to all of you. You can go through. It is very clearly understandable. Then criteria 3, risk levels are given. Criteria 4. Criteria 5. Then criteria 6. After all that, you have to take the assigning weights to each risk level. Assigning weights. Each and every 6 criteria you have to assign weights. Weights will be like this. It is all judgment based. Discussion between the internal auditor, risk management people, audit people, audit committee, all put together, they will give the weightage. So total it is 10. Then total risk score for one audit area. As I told you, there can be 40, 50 or 70 audit areas. For each audit area, you have to do this exercise and find out the total risk score. This is the total risk score. For the entire, in this case, it is 44.5. Likewise, for about 70 audit area, you have to find out the risk score. This exercise will take 1 or 2 days. You have to do that. Afterwards, selection of audit areas, risk score for each audit area to be arrived at, sort audit areas in descending order, top scoring areas selected for annual audit plan depending upon the audit resources available, travel budget available given by the top management. So this is how you select the audit areas based on the risk rating for your annual audit plan. Selection of audit area, risk score for each audit area to be allowed that, this is the thing. So with this I come to the presentation. Any questions I will take, or any other additional points, supplementary points you want to make, I will be glad to receive. Now 12:35, I am asked to complete by 12:30. I am only surprised 48 to 50 people have registered. How come after registration they have not turned up? Really surprising. How did you find, some of you can give your feedback, how useful the presentation, whether it is clearly understandable. Yeah.
As an internal auditor, whether we have to report basically risk register, what are the risks already listed out. That risk column we have to do, we are responsible for that risk, whatever listed out risk.
Yeah, I will give you answer. See, in a company where risk management function is available, chief risk officer is there and he has prepared the risk register. If it is available, internal auditor can take and refer the risk register and go on that basis. That is one thing. So you are going on the basis of risk already identified, risk identification, likelihood, probability, all those things. You go by that. That is one thing. Another thing, as internal auditor, you audit the risk management process itself. That is what today's objective is. That is how they prepared the risk register, how did they follow identification. All that will be, minutes will be available, recorded. Whatever you have done, likelihood, root cause analysis, impact study, scale, everything, risk rating, risk profiling, everything should be recorded whenever they do the work by the risk management department. That minutes and records you should go through, audit, and then find out whether they have done the job correctly. That is how you ensure.
If any new things also we find out, apart from the part of listed, then we have to suggest to risk.
Exactly. we have to suggest to the top management, audit committee as well as risk management CRO and ask him to include. We have to convince them. Once they are convinced, they will add it. They will not say no. That is our experience. They accept. Because we look at it from a different angle. Because as internal auditor, practicing internal auditor, we have experience of various other companies. Because inside the company people, they know only about their company. Whereas consultant or practicing internal auditor from a CA firm, they would have done audit of various other companies. That experience will be useful for giving new ideas and new concepts. Thank you. Any other doubts? Yeah.
Sir, it's very easy to find in any kind of a company an individual duty.
It's very easy to find in a small company if a single person is deviating from controller. Now, the whole challenge for any kind of an auditor is a collusion. So, do you think, are there any ways to find out if it is collusion?
One thing, talking about internal control, I have a separate very big presentation on internal control of various functional areas. I have even written a book on fraud prevention and detection using internal control, which whoever wanting, you can email to me. I will supply that book. It is costing 250 rupees, published by Institute of Internal Auditors, India, Bombay, and it was published in the year 2022. One of the points to be noted as far as internal controls are concerned, and one of the major internal control points is segregation of duties or division of duties. If there is collusion, it will break. Nothing can be done. In many of the frauds which have occurred, there is a collusion. Even in the case of Enron, WorldCom, there is a collusion between the people. That is why it got submerged for a quite long time. Later on, it was revealed through some other study kind of thing. So collusion is a very big threat. If there is a collusion between the people or between management, and then even in the case of Satyam Computer, collusion between managing director, internal auditor, operational people, everybody jointly they have done. And finally it was revealed only by the managing director. Otherwise it would have gone for some more period of time. So collusion, you cannot do anything. That is there. The solution for avoiding collusion is don't employ bad people with bad background. So background check at the time of appointment, background check, antecedents verification, all those things and has to be conducted. That is the only way by which you can prevent employing such people. Their psychology, their behavior has to be studied.
Just for continuation.
Yeah.
So, probably I'm digressing from the topic. It's more for everyone who's sitting here. I think Institute is coming up with something called Standards on Internal Auditing.
Yeah.
It's not yet notified, but it's going to be notified in the future.
Mm.
Do you think it's a decision in the right step or wrong? I think it's open for everyone.
I'll tell you.
Why? I'll just complete it, sir.
Yeah.
Now you see a chartered accountant firm, if it's registered under ICAI and providing internal audit, you are overburdened with one more layer of standards that needs to be followed, which is a compliance. Now if it's a Deloitte or someone who's not an internal auditor, it's a consulting firm or a consulting company which does not have any standards on.
So
Don't you think?
they are free, even doing a larger companies,
And we
being punished for being.
Let me explain to you in this manner. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, there is a separate board earlier known as Internal Audit Standards Board. Now it is renamed as Board on Internal Audit and Management Accounting. of which I am one of the member, co-opted member. I have been taken as member recently. There are number of standards on internal audit already pronounced by the institute, of which there is a training program in the same premises next week, 24th May, 25th, 26th, 27th, 4 days, evening 5 to 8 p.m. daily. I am handling one session one day on 26th on internal control and documentation. Other aspects of standards on internal audit covered by other faculty. And also, so far more than 25 standards on internal audit have been pronounced, but so far it has not been made mandatory. Shortly it will become mandatory, so that we can say that all those chartered accountants who are doing internal audit assignment have to follow those things mandatorily. But if a consulting firm who are not chartered accountants, leave alone, don't mention the name Deloitte or KPMG or anything, whoever it is, yeah, correct, whoever it is, ABC analysis, ABC company or XYZ company, who are not chartered accountants, who are only consultants, and if they are doing internal audit, if they tell the auditee, their clients, that they are following the standards, it will be a good thing. But an institute can control only the members of the institute. That is the limitation. Even there are people without certificate of practice practicing as auditor and signing and giving. After finding out, the institute cannot take any action, only from other act or laws as a defrauding thing, action can be taken on such people, but not by the institute. We can have control only on the members of the institute, chartered accountants in practice. That is the limitation.
Shouldn't the institute be facilitating members for ease of doing business rather than putting more regulations and objections?
No.
See, when Deloitte, I'm taking Deloitte name not in any sense.
Okay.
I was an ex-PwC person, so I know that.
Okay.
So when I'm saying that institute should facilitate the ease of doing business for the members in practice, not putting additional boundaries for it where they are bound by it, but someone else is not bound by it when it is an open market. Isn't it a detrimental interest to the institute of members of the institute?
No, one way of argument is that putting controls will make the thing difficult. But any profession has to be controlled by introducing standards. That is the benchmark against which you have to see the performance of the members, and also the accounting standard or auditing standard kind of thing. So without standards we cannot function. There should be standards, and that is why they are thinking twice before making it mandatory or compulsory. But shortly it will be decided. We have discussed in the committee meeting which was held in Delhi. I attended on 24th April. They are in the sound lines of thinking for making the standards on internal audit also compulsory to all the chartered accountants. It will come shortly rather than later.
To add to what you was saying, see, in essence what he is meaning is there is no level playing.
Exactly.
As simple as that. There is no level playing. I'll give you a very simple example. Forget about Deloitte or consulting or all of this. The other institutes, folk institutes, including the CWA institute, they are not going to be bound by any standards.
No, I'll tell you one thing. Institute of Cost Accountants of India, that is CMA, is Cost and Management Accountant. They are also conducting courses on internal audit. They are also coming out with standards on internal audit to be followed by the members of their institute. So every institute will come up with standards which are to be, if it is mandatory, it are to be followed rigorously. If it is until it is not mandatory, you are free to have it as a guidance note only, guideline only. Once it is made mandatory, it has to be strictly followed, and violation of it is punishable offence.
No, if that is the case, to establish a level playing field, much the same way now the auditor's report carries, is supposed to be mandatorily says that we have followed the standards on auditing and compliance with CARO and everything. Then that has to be done mandatory for internal auditing.
Exactly, sir. In
Yeah.
case of statutory audit, it has to be a form.
the motto of the institute. Then MCA also has to be taken into confidence.
Correct.
Where MCA has to come out, or including anything else. When internal audit is compulsory by MCA only for certain companies, not for all the companies. It is
Correct.
an internal audit.
Correct.
Right? So a company which is below the turnover can opt for an internal audit. It's not that it's not possible.
Yeah.
In that case, the institute or the regulatory body, let's put it that way, not necessarily the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, the regulatory body where they are now putting emphasis on internal audit as a mitigation tool for fraud and control mechanisms and everything, then it has to be then made mandated that the report issued by an internal auditor, be it be a chartered accountant or not a chartered accountant, has to follow the standards.
I will tell you one more thing. In fact, the government of India has to recognize the internal auditing activity as to be done, carried out by only professionals, not by anybody else. Even every internal auditor of every company, whether he is inside the company or consultant, has to be a chartered accountant following the standards pronounced by the institute. After the standards are made mandatory, institute will have to discuss with the MCA, Ministry of Finance and Government of India, and to put a condition that any company of a certain nature, certain size and nature has to employ a chartered accountant only as internal auditor. Already there are provisions in the Companies Act for appointing chartered accountant as internal auditor and cost accountant as internal auditor, but also there is a provision which says that any other professional can also be internal auditor. That is the only catch point. What to do? They want to give leeway for others also.
No, I am not talking about who should be an internal auditor. I am talking about what should be the system.
Correct.
I don't have a problem. Exactly. Even
It needs to be universal, it cannot be.
Even if I am not a chartered accountant, if I am any other professional, I should be bound by the standards.
Correct.
That's all.
Whether he is a member or not, if he is doing internal audit, he should follow the standards given by the institute. That kind of pronouncement should come from the Government of India. That is the valid point. I think we may have to, all of you can write to the institute by way of suggestion when they are calling for feedback from the members. So that will go to the institute and they will compile it and then present it to the Government of India. Thank you very much, sir, for your patient listening and the interaction throughout. I am very much happy with your interaction. Thank you very much.
On behalf of all the members gathered here, I'd like to thank Vidyanand sir for a fantastic presentation. I'm sure I'm speaking for all of us when I say that we learnt a lot about the types of risks, the risk management process starting from identification, likelihood and impact analysis and the treatment processes. And I'm sure we will carry forward all this knowledge and draft a better internal audit plan and help the clients attain a lot from our process. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.